So many of you maybe have encountered SurrounDead on your Steam recommended page, and I actually got it from a humble bundle survival game bundle. For a while it was laying in my inventory, library, and I never really touched it, and then I was bored one day and decided to download it and have it a go. I quickly came to realize that the game itself is actually pretty darn fun, and I enjoy playing it a lot. Now have amassed close to 10 hours playtime. May not sound that much, but I still have other things to do, and I mix and match with the games I play. Some days I play some games more, and some days I don't play games at all, where there's days where I just play one specific day all day long. And this game surely is one of my now favorite single player survival games if I just want to enjoy like a zombie apocalypse, loot for items, craft stuff, build a base, and so on. So let's get into the details first. To my knowledge, the game is made by a single developer, and it's made in Unreal Engine 5, giving it that nice polished visual look. The game is low to mid poly design and style, but I enjoy it a lot. There's very nice sounds for weapons. The weapons actually look very nice, and they function relatively nicely too. You can toggle sights if you have them, so it's not just the over the shoulder look with the crosshair. The difficulty level, especially with AI, is very varied depending on just what kind of AI you're battling with. So far in my playthrough, I have encountered 5 types of overall entities or enemies in the game. I know there's way much more. I know there's bears and other animals in the game, but I just simply have not encountered them. Maybe they're at the other side of the map. So I will list currently the enemies I have encountered and how difficult for me it was and how well placed they are in locations. And the new place location, which is the observatory, very nearby to my base that I have chosen, mainly because there's weapons lockers and it constantly refills with weapons. It's a very nice place. Anyways, basically, soldiers spawned at the new observatory and they're pretty OP. They have M4s with silencers and they shoot like lasers, and there's a good bunch. I have taken out maybe half of them, but they still tend to eliminate me, and there's many death boxes of mine there that where I need to pick up all my loot again, because once you die you lose everything and you have to go collect it. I don't know if the things despawn or not. That is yet to be discovered. Then there's 2 different kinds of zombies I have encountered, which are the ones that crawl on the ground, but they're pretty darn speedy, so better look out for your ankles. Have a ranged weapon, or crouch down and hit them with a melee, because sometimes you won't be able to hit them from a standing position, and they do a decent amount of damage. Then there's regular ones, just melee or ranged works just fine, a headshot or 2 and they're dead. Then there's scavengers, which are neutral NPCs. They travel around and, try to survive. I by accident pissed them off by running one of them over, and there was 2 or 3 more, and they started chasing me with axes. So that was fun, because then I hadn't discovered my base just yet. So let's just say they chopped me to bits very quickly. Then there's bandits, which, shoot you on sight, but they also have camps, and they have very nice loot around those camps. You can find them pretty easily. Just look for smoke going through the woods up in the sky, and there's always a base there or a small camp that you can raid, and either there's scavengers or there's bandits. But it always has some nice loot in some boxes for you, like weapons, ammunition, medical items, and so on and so forth. And then there's, of course, the just regular NPCs. that you can find as wandering traders. They're also very, very nice. You can buy some legendary loot off of them, but you will have to trade certain items to them. They're called credits. You can get them in safe zones, which is pretty cool. I haven't gotten to them. I almost always die before I get to those, but all in time, right? So, what comes next is loot. You can gain it from finding containers all around the world, from checkpoints in radioactive zones where you do need gas masks and radiation pills and so on to actually be able to survive that. Then there's airdrops, which you can increase the latency, no, not latency, amount of them that they actually drop in and so on. I just remembered the word, but and they also have nice medical items. They have weapons, sometimes legendary weapons. I have never encountered one. I know that 3 or 4 have dropped by the time I was playing. Never found one. Maybe they drop somewhere closer to the middle of the map. Then there's, of course, certain houses and buildings that are locked up, and you can pick lock the doors, and there's weapons lockers and some very nice items. There's military bases and military camps that also appear all around the map randomly. You never know when a new one can appear. It just appears whilst you're playing, and I think that's a nice aspect to the game. Another thing is, how do you manage your loot and everything, because you can also find weapons and other tools that are damaged and they won't work as nicely. You can repair them at certain crafting benches, and you can also craft new items with items you can find around, or harvest them like any other survival game by chopping trees down. You can break apart broken down cars on the road. You can even take down old fences and get materials from that and keep building. There's even ways to stop zombies spawning in your safe area, which I personally find is a very nice feature. Plus, there's working lamps and so on, so you can light up the area where your items are, or where your main base is, even if you lose your GPS, where you can mark stuff on the map. You can at least find it by driving around, aka a big building that is lit up or something like that. I have done that personally, and it has saved my life many times. But also a trick for that is to just have a sleeping bag and set your spawn point there, and that's about it. And it works like a charm. You will just spawn where you have placed your sleeping bag, basically. So, as like my finishing word, I honestly say that this is a wonderful indie survival game. You should check it out. It costs like $10 on Steam. It's definitely worth the money, especially since there's constant frequent updates. There's new areas that keep coming out, new items, new loot, bug fixes, new types of enemies, even boss enemies. Now there's infestations that you have to destroy, and you will get more and better loot. And overall, it's just very, very cool, and I personally find it very interesting. Even the world changes up a bit, and item spawns and enemy spawns change up even when you load your previous game saves. So infestations that you had in a certain area disappear after you reload the game, and they change locations. So that's also pretty cool, I think. And yeah, the game is pretty fun. I found myself absorbed into it a lot. Like, time flew by very quickly, so I personally think the game is definitely one of the best, or one of the better ones at least, from the indie titles, especially solo developer indie titles that have come to Steam, and I should encourage you to check it out. If my word doesn't do, then definitely the 2,000 plus reviews on Steam, which say that the game is good. It has very positive standing on Steam. The game, as I said again, and will say again, is of course in early access, but it gets frequent updates. And, well, for me personally, it's a very, very fun game, and I'm very excited to see what more is to come for it. And with that being said, if you want any other games for me to check out, do a review, and so on and so forth, always feel free to type down in the comments down below, as well as like and subscribe. That really helps the channel out a lot, and of course shows me that I'm doing something correctly. Criticism is always welcome. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.